Ja, pass auf, sag den Leuten drüben, dass da Wasser kommt, ja, an der Seite. Ja, ich weiß nicht, wo er ist, keine Ahnung, der hat sich bei mir nicht zurückgemeldet. Auf geht's, beeil dich. Gut, ciao.
Ich bin da eh da.
Okay. Alles klar. Du bist? Hast du auch einen Schlüssel für die Kamera? Ja. Danke.
Good morning and welcome to Munich Siebener Street. Welcome to our live training session in week one of Bayern Munich's pre-season. Carlo Ancelotti has welcomed the Bayern squad, at least the Bayern players available to him for the fourth training session this week already. Several Bayern stars here on the pitch, Arjen Robben amongst them, Holger Badstuber, Xabi Alonso, Philipp Lahm, to name but a few, Rafinha and Franck Ribéry, Javi Martinez. A lot of important star players, also a few unfamiliar faces I'm sure for many of you because, as always in a Bayern Munich pre-season that follows a major tournament, of course, many key players still missing, which is why several youth players stand in. But as you can see here, particularly the red-shirted men should all be pretty familiar. For those of you who watched the Monday live training session already, I can tell you that while this session was maybe a bit of a gentle let-in for the Bayern professionals, Carlo Ancelotti and his assistants Paul Clement and Carlo Ancelotti's son Davide have upped the tempo, have increased the intensity of the training sessions. In the background there with the here we have him. The red cap is Carlo Ancelotti. On his left, Paul Clement. To his right, his son Davide Ancelotti, and then Holger Broich. We have already noticed one major difference in the past training sessions. That is that Carlo Ancelotti, unlike his predecessor Pep Guardiola, is more of a silent observer. He lets his assistants Paul Clement and Davide Ancelotti conduct the bulk of the training sessions and only occasionally gets involved. Here's one of these youngsters in the background there, Fabian Benko. Julian Green also part of the squad. Javi Martinez not nominated for the Spanish European Championship squad. During the pre-season, during the upcoming weeks, several players will, of course, return to Bayern depending on how long they played at the European Championships. But, of course, a coach can't, or a manager can't afford to wait until all of the players have returned, which is why on Saturday we're already going to see the first test match of Bayern Munich against SV Lippstadt. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock CET, and shortly after the final whistle, so somewhere around 7 p.m. CET, 7:30 to 8 o'clock p.m., we will have highlights of this game available for you on our social media channels, as well as extended highlights on FCB TV. I'm not sure which shirt the Bayern players are going to wear then. I assume it's going to be this one. Let's have a closer look here. This is the new Bayern Munich away shirt, which has just been made available on the Bayern Munich website. You can click on the link below to find out more about it and to take a closer look. It's the first time that the Bayern players are sporting this new jersey. The home shirt, traditionally already introduced to the fans in the last game of the regular season. Franck Ribéry and Arjen Robben. What a great sight for Bayern fans worldwide. These two superstars that have played such a pivotal role for Bayern Munich in the past years on the wings are both fit, ready and back. Hopefully they can stay injury-free and go through the entire pre-season at Bayern Munich, so that they can enter the season in full strength. And then it'll be really interesting to see, of course, which kind of a system Carlo Ancelotti chooses, what kind of a focus, what kind of a philosophy he'll introduce, and how he'll use wing players. One thing Carlo Ancelotti already guaranteed, I suppose you could say, is that Bayern Munich will see more attacking football under Ancelotti. Said Bayern Munich traditionally is a club that plays attacking football. Ancelotti was full of praise for Pep Guardiola's work in the past years and says he wants to continue in that style, and since he himself loves attacking football, that's what he intends to play with Bayern Munich. And these two players, Robben and Ribéry, if fit, can certainly play a crucial role under the reign of the new man, the new strong man of Bayern in the background, Carlo Ancelotti. On the far left there, starting to run forward, Holger Badstuber. Obviously that's great news as well, together with Robin in particular, who of course also had an injury towards the end of the season. He worked extremely hard throughout the summer break to regain his fitness in time to be able to conduct full team training during the preseason, and so far so good. Badstuber has been able to participate in every training session, and he'll benefit from exercises like this in modern training work. Gymnastics, stretching, physical preparation is becoming ever more important. A lot of these players spend quite a while in the gym even before training starts. Maybe not so much during a preseason, at least not individually, but as soon as the season begins, you'll have players like Robin who do conduct a very individual preparation program, and also work hard after the training sessions and after the games. We spoke to Philipp Lahm yesterday, who said, of course, going through the summer, 7-week holiday, unusually long, of course, particularly for players like Philipp Lahm and Xabi Alonso, who always participated in these major tournaments. He said the first couple of weeks were pretty relaxed, but then the Bayern players obviously did have, I'm not sure how extensive the running program was, but they had a fitness program that they had to adhere to so that they, as Philipp Lahm said, wouldn't arrive in Munich after 7 weeks on the sofa. I think that's clear in the modern day and age. And Philipp Lahm is obviously one of those players who takes his job extremely seriously. Like every Bayern player, Carlo Ancelotti commented on that immediately in his first press conference, saying that he loves to work with professional and serious players, players who take their job seriously, who live the life of a professional, not only on the pitch but off the pitch. And here, this man that you all know so well is, of course, the epitome of that kind of a professional player. Philipp Lahm, usually, and for many, many years, pretty much free of any serious injury, with the one exception where he broke his ankle and was sidelined in the 2 seasons ago now. Apart from that, always available, such an important player for Bayern Munich, and still, from what we can tell now, without real competition on his fullback position. But of course, it'll be interesting to see too what Carlo Ancelotti has planned for Philipp Lahm, considered widely to be one of the best fullbacks really in the history of German football. Lahm has, of course, also done a magnificent job in the past season under Pep Guardiola in midfield. Warm-up program seems to be over. As I mentioned earlier, this was only a 10-15 minute warm-up program, but most of these players, if not all of them, have already spent some time in the gym. And Franck Ribéry obviously has some plans here. It's been some hard training sessions in the past few days, but it's good to see that these Bayern stars, and I think we're looking at 5 key players here in one shot, they're all still in a very good mood, it seems, and still very much up for the challenge. Here's Bayern Munich's goalkeeping team, of course, still lacking the number 1 player. Let's have a look at what Carlo Ancelotti has planned for the players today. This is Christian Früchtel, who joined Bayern Munich in the winter training camp in Qatar as an only 15-year-old player, and ever since he's been training individually very hard and very often with goalkeeping coach Toni Tapalovic. Obviously still a really young player, but he has a professional, serious and level head on his shoulders, which is why the Bayern coaching staff decided to integrate him quite early in his career in the Bayern professional squad, or at least give him professional goalkeeping training under Toni Tapalovic. And also, as you can see here, he is involved, as are the other goalkeepers, in these passing exercises, typical not only at Bayern Munich nowadays, of course, to integrate the goalkeepers in some of these exercises. Manuel Neuer, I think, rewrote the rule book in terms of what goalkeepers have to be able to play, and passing is certainly one of the important aspects of the goalkeeping game. At least that's the case in Germany and at Bayern Munich. Manuel Neuer allows the Bayern team to hold a very high defensive line, basically as high as they want to be. Here again, you'll see several youth players integrated in these exercises. There are, depending on what training session, somewhere around 10 pro Bayern players in the squad. Here's Paul Clement, one of the two assistant coaches now at Bayern Munich, and the voice in the background is that of Davide Ancelotti. Originally, the plan was to have him join Bayern Munich. Here he is as one of the fitness coaches, but he is definitely qualified to be one of the assistant managers under Carlo Ancelotti here, in discussions with Hermann Gerland. And also he speaks German very well, which is obviously of great help in these training sessions. Let's have a look at this next exercise.
Nach vorne. Okay. Hopp, nach vorne. Hier, Doppelpass. Die Spitze. Und der Ball ist hier und die Spitze hier. Okay. Doppelpass. Doppelpass nur hier. Und gehen in die Spitze. Okay.
So here is Davide Ancelotti telling the players what to do in pretty much flawless German. I think Paul Clement might still have to work on that a little bit, but of course the Bayern players by far and large speak English very well. And then there is of course the international language of football that all of these players speak. One of the first things you can notice in these first training sessions is that Ancelotti and his training coordinators, his assistant managers, his training planners obviously favor more focused exercises. This, for instance, is something in training that we didn't really see under Pep at all, an exercise that focuses completely on passing, on one-touch football. Of course, movement of the players is important here as well, but Pep Guardiola usually liked to integrate different elements into every exercise. He'd have a passing exercise which also incorporated some sprints or jumps, then a shot on goal possibly, and here we have a few more focused exercises already. Shooting exercises, passing, physical exercises, all separated from each other rather than all of these elements incorporated into one exercise. We'll see how that evolves in the next few weeks and how it unfolds during the course of the season. But there is obviously, at least for now, a bit of a difference there in how Carlo Ancelotti wants to focus and maybe channel the concentration of the players. Again, here only on passing. And once more you have Ulreich, Starke, Früchtl, all involved in these one-touch passing exercises. Maybe not quite as successful and quite as precise as the other players on the pitch.
Immer Bewegung, Pass, zurück, dritter Mensch. Dort, Doppelpass.
The relationship with the players is the most important aspect of a manager's job. That's a quote from Carlo Ancelotti's first press conference here at Bayern Munich, and I think he's been working on it. Observers have all commented on a very relaxed, friendly atmosphere within the coaching staff, between coaching staff and players, and in general involving everyone who is somehow involved in the team work. Carlo Ancelotti, I thought, remarkably said that he, on the one hand, has to convince his players that his idea of football is the right idea, because, of course, the players have to put that idea to life on the pitch. On the other hand, he said, I have to convince my players, and if I can't convince my players of this idea, then I simply have to change that idea. That's not a problem either. But there was a fairly remarkable statement, typical possibly for someone who has enjoyed so much experience at major clubs, icon as a player at AC Milan, and of course you're aware of his stops at Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, to name but a few, Juventus. A man who has worked with several generations of football players, many top stars, many different clubs with different philosophies, and he is obviously not only capable but also willing to adapt to the circumstances. It'll be exciting to see how he wants his team to play football, how he wants his attacking philosophy of football put to life. A couple new exciting players already on board. Renato Sanchez, I'm sure those of you who at least follow the European Championships know now exactly just how good that player is. We had ample opportunity to watch Renato Sanchez impress us in his midfield position for the Portuguese national team. And then with Mats Hummels and Jerome Boateng, it really is a fear-inducing defense that Bayern Munich can field if everyone is fit. And let's not forget Holger Badstuber, who's one of the players here, one of the potential key players that can conduct this whole preseason. I hope, at least, that's all hope. Here he is, that Badstuber can stay free of injury, that he can work his way back into the team, and then you have Hummels, Boateng and Badstuber. At least Boateng and Badstuber, and this is thinking out of the box right now, in theory can play fullback positions as well. But if not, you have really interesting competition between three world-class defenders at Bayern Munich for these centre-back positions. No new signings on the horizon yet, but Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and Carlo Ancelotti weren't willing to completely exclude that possibility. We'll see what happens. Still well over a month of transfer opportunities for the top clubs in Europe, and as always, all kinds of rumors surrounding potential new signings of Bayern Munich, and of course rumors surrounding Bayern players that other clubs are interested in. Nothing new. If you're a Bayern fan, you have been for a while, you know that's completely normal. Here is Holger Badstuber. Again, he worked hard throughout the entire summer, as I'm sure did Xabi Alonso. Players like Alonso, Philipp Lahm know exactly what it takes to be in shape for the beginning of the season, and well, here's Mr. 100% in every training session, every day. Certainly one of the most professional players at Bayern Munich, Arjen Robben. And again, the good news also is that he came back fit and ready for the preseason. He's been able to conduct the first few training sessions without any difficulties. Same goes for Rafinha, for Franck Ribéry, and that's already quite a good basis for Carlo Ancelotti to be able to rely on, even with so many Bayern players still missing. All the German internationals, David Alaba, Robert Lewandowski, Renato Sanchez, to name but a few. But of course they'll also return fit and ready for the challenge, I'm sure. But now they all deserve a 3-week holiday. Much more pleasant temperatures here in Munich than on Monday. Monday was excruciatingly hot, with temperatures over 90 degrees here in the sun, and very humid weather. Today it's cooled off. It's actually cooled off in the last few days. A couple of training sessions actually took place in torrential rain, but that didn't prevent the Bayern stars from training just as hard. Today it's pleasant, no rain, nice little breeze blowing over Munich Siebener Street. Pretty much ideal conditions for this training session today. We need a lip reader now to find out in which language Carlo Ancelotti actually communicated with his players. I know that the plan is certainly to do it in German, and some of it, or most of it, is in German already. But let's see what follows now that the boss himself explained to his players what he expects of the next training exercise. As always, you can see countless journalists here, very many fans, and maybe a bit of a tactical exercise here already. Seems as if we have an attacking formation against a defensive formation on the pitch. That would be very unusual for the Bayern fans visiting the training and those that have been visiting the training sessions in the past few years. Nothing tactical whatsoever under Pep Guardiola in these public training sessions. All of that was done behind closed doors. It's one of these exercises that we certainly wouldn't have seen under Pep in a public training session. And again, Carlo Ancelotti just observing this now. So this is quite obviously an offensive exercise, if you so will. The attacking formation in the red shirts consists of all the actual professional players. As far as I can tell, the black team defending in the new away shirt of Bayern Munich exclusively consists of youth players. So Ancelotti already using the opportunity here with his key players to train some attacking formations. Here's Arjen Robben trying a chip forward to Fabian Benko, which is intercepted there by Sven Ulreich. And as you can see, the black team, let's call it that for now, doesn't actually enjoy a possession here. It's there to defend, to position itself well against the attacking team. There's no goals to score for the black team, but only good positional play. It's fascinating to see that, but even the amateurs and youth players, all, of course, from a certain age on, know exactly what to do in these tactical exercises, how to position themselves. Here's a good opportunity for some forward pressing there by the Bayern attacking team, and that's what they're doing. I'm not sure if it's Carlo Ancelotti who's clapping here, but you can see Arjen Robben, Julian Green, Franck Ribéry, even Philipp Lahm now attacking so early up the pitch. Xabi Alonso now. And some good work there on the right back position. Not a good clearance there by Ulreich, but Rafinha's header to Arjen Robben not precise enough either. Ulreich excuses himself. And yeah, the next attempt unsuccessful.
No, yo tengo que ir. Yo voy a ir. Sí. Yo salto.
Next try, initiated by Javi Martinez. Playing there as a centre back, I suppose you could say, in this tactical formation next to Holger Badstuber. Fabian Benko again to Juan Bernat. Xabi Alonso taking over. Good stop, Rafinha. Philipp Lahm on the right back position. Alonso in holding midfield. The cross not precise enough, or the header too difficult. Hammers it away. Benko again, double pass with Franck Ribéry. Ribéry now down with space on the left. Where's the cross into the center? Pass back and goal one, Arjen Robben. Bayern adding numbers there to the left wing, creating some space for Franck Ribéry, and we saw towards the end of the last season already that even after his long injury break, Ribéry still knows what to do when hurtling down the left lane. Carlo Ancelotti immediately uses the opportunity to speak to Franck Ribéry. That's a really interesting exercise to watch here, something that we haven't seen in a long time, where we only saw physical exercises, basically shooting exercises. We might see a little game played later on, which is always a treat for the fans watching. But here we can maybe already deduct a little bit of what Carlo Ancelotti is going to plan with his Bayern team. Also, this is the exercise that I've seen so far where Ancelotti is most outspoken, most involved and vocal there with his players. Good work, Arjen Robben. Xabi Alonso can't find space in the center. Fabian Benko again and Juan Bernat. Rafinha, a little bit of space. And again, look at the players attacking now. That was a good pass back, but Julian Green attacks Sven Ulreich. And possession regained for Team Red. Xabi Alonso missed the target. Right, it's these exercises that give the Bayern players a first indication of what Carlo Ancelotti's idea and philosophy is actually about. Very generally spoken now, I would say, as Ancelotti already announced, there are a lot of similarities between what Pep Guardiola wanted and what he wants. There will be differences in the detail, but you can see here very flexible, a versatile attacking formation, lots of movement from the center to the wings, back and forth all the time, and as soon as the ball is lost, extremely aggressive pressing football to regain possession as quickly as possible and as close to the opposition goal as possible. Let's see how this attack here pans out, starting with Rafinha now.
Solo. Bravo, Argi. Solo, Xavi, solo. Bueno. Good. Bravo, Xavi.
Now Alonso misses the target again, but for the second time Alonso actually regained possession for Bayern Munich in a promising position, and that's the idea. That's what really matters in this exercise. That's what Carlo Ancelotti wants to see. It's tough for these youth players here. Can't be that much fun, apart from the fact, of course, that they get to train with the professional squad and under a star manager such as Carlo Ancelotti. But in this exercise, they're basically not really allowed to hold on to possession, but just have to position themselves well, defend against all these superstars rushing their way. And as soon as they do have the ball, all they have to do is try not to lose it again. I'm not sure, they're obviously not allowed, not quite sure what the rules are here, but obviously not allowed to immediately just hammer that ball away. Sven Ulreich gets to do that, but only when the attack is over, so I suppose that the team in black has to try to play the ball forward. Here we have another example. There's a little chip forward now. That seems to be allowed. But I suppose just hammering the ball away is forbidden here for the black team consisting of youth players, simply because that would, of course, or that does give the red team opportunity again to attack and to practice the pressing game. Yeah, Robin uses that opportunity. Obviously, Sven Ulreich unhappy as his pass was intercepted. Second goal of the day, I think, here in this exercise. Second one by Arjen Robben. And it always reminds me of what Jupp Heynckes said about his strikers. He said it doesn't matter if the strikers score a goal in a competitive game, in a test match, in training or at home. Every goal is good for a striker. Every goal, no matter where it's scored, gives a striker confidence, makes him feel happy, and you can see it in the face of Arjen Robben that the smile is a little broader, a little more outspoken already, a little more vocal. You want your attacking players to be happy, and nothing makes them happier than scoring. Next attempt, 2 goals scored so far, and a lot of pressure on these youth players. You can take a look and see what happens when one of the team black players intercepts the ball. Again, they're only here to defend, but aren't allowed to hammer that ball away, but instead have to somehow try to pass that ball forward. And now first opportunity missed by Arjen Robben.
Felipe, está solo Rafa, solo. Bravo, Rafa. Yep, right.
Obviously starting to rain here at Siebener Street. That's more of a concern for the fans, for the many fans watching, than for the players on the pitch. On the contrary, for an attacking team, that's actually quite welcome, particularly if you keep the ball close to the ground. Gives the ball more speed. Javi Martinez getting a little more involved now in the attacking game. And Bayern's mascot, again, in this, well, I think, personally, quite fetching new away shirt there of Bayern Munich. Different shades of grey or black. We'll see that in action in many games this season. Little break here to analyze what Carlo Ancelotti liked and what he disliked. Or although, as you can see, he was already a lot more involved here than he was earlier today, and also than he was in the first live training we were fortunate enough to show you on Monday, where really Ancelotti only stood at the back and quietly observed while his assistant managers Paul Clement and Davide Ancelotti spoke to the team. Here, a lot more talk now. Alonso, Arjen Robben, they all know these are the exercises that count, where the coach pays particular attention. Philipp Lahm commented in an interview with FCB TV yesterday on how all of the players here, everyone at Bayern Munich still has that dream, and of course that's particularly the case for Xabi Alonso and Arjen Robben in this season. Franck Ribéry, Philipp Lahm, all of the old players who are slowly but surely approaching the end of their career, they would all love to win the Champions League one more time, either with Bayern for the first time, as is the case with Xabi Alonso, or for the second time with Bayern Munich, Franck Ribéry and Arjen Robben, who together made that Wembley winning goal against Dortmund just minutes from time. As Philipp Lahm put it, when you enter the Champions League season, you want to progress further than you did in the past season or past seasons, and in Bayern Munich's case, that means making it to the final. And when you're in the final of the Champions League, Bayern Munich certainly doesn't want to lose. Here is where the foundation is laid. And if Hermann Gallant puts his rain hat over a cap, then you know it's pouring with rain, and that's exactly what's going on here right now. Bad news for the fans attending. I hope everyone has an umbrella. There are a lot there. It's been that way in Munich in the last couple of days. Last week was a beautiful, very hot week of summer, but in the past few days we've had sunny temperatures, rain, wind, basically everything apart from snow. It's too warm for that, but Carlo Ancelotti gets a bit of a taste of the Munich weather here. Not that he should have a problem with that, with such an extensive background in different countries. And again, it's all with a smile. It's all, of course, concentrated. It's all serious and professional, but it's also all in good humor. Philipp Lahm said he only spoke to Carlo Ancelotti for the first time on Monday. They met before training and talked details and talked about what the next few weeks will bring, what the coach expects. Ancelotti certainly is a coach who knows he needs to take these key players on board, and Philipp Lahm is more than willing to approach a new coach and a new season with an open mind. Everything for the football club, everything for his really one and only club, Bayern Munich. We are looking at some of the most highly decorated players and coaches in the history of the game. And of course it's much too early to predict what will happen, but here at Bayern I think it's safe to say everyone has a pretty good feeling about Carlo Ancelotti and the immediate future at Bayern Munich. So most of the older professional first team players have taken off their shirts now. Holger Bartstuber and Javi Martinez seem to have switched sides for this exercise. Let's have a look at what we're watching here. So I think all of the defensive players have switched sides. You can see Bernat on the right of your screen, Bartstuber, Martinez in the center, Philipp Lahm in his right back position. All really in pretty much torrential rain now at Munich's Zebener Street. Exercise in now has changed a little bit as well when the defense has possession. It can hold on to the ball, and then you have a 3 against 2 exercise conducted here. While Carlo Ancelotti uses the opportunity for a short break here to talk to his defenders, again Lahm and Martinez. Here's Julian Green.
Play! Take the ball and go! And go! Now, come on, rapid! And speed! Yes!
That was well played.
Come on, take another ball. Let's go. Take another ball. Timothy, play. Finish. Rebounds. Here we go. Show it.
So separating these two groups obviously gives the players a bit of an opportunity to catch their breath, also for the coaches to comment on what they saw. But I suppose you could say this is an exercise now, unlike the previous one, which focuses more on the defensive work. You'll hear Carlo Ancelotti. You can see him now talk to Juan Bernat and point to where he's supposed to stand. Earlier on, he was talking to Javi Martinez, and you can defend as well as you want with Arjen Robben, and here's the smile back on his face. You just can't ever really prevent these Bayern attackers from scoring, at least occasionally. That was really difficult technically. Really nice goal.
Come on, come on. Slide diagonal. Yeah. Let me stop. Yep. Then. Good. One up here. Okay, let's play. Come on, go. Sì, one. Sì. Ok, sì. Azione. Come on. Push up. Zusammen. Okay. Push up. Good line.
Great ball there by Xabi. And again, you can hear these German words raus all the time, means move forward or move out of defense. This is how to defend against a strong team. Now long ball forward by Tom Starke to the youth players. Now I just have to wait a little bit. Again, Ancelotti uses the opportunity to comment on the defense while
Push up.
Time and again, great crosses and opening passes there by Xabi Alonso in the center. And maybe now, chance to take a shot. Good one.
We're playing here.
And again, there's this 3 against 2 exercise, practicing how to score against defense when you're in superior numbers. And as you can see, again, starting to rain more and more. And again here, young Christian Früchtel at the center of attention, always tutored by Toni Tapalovic. Good work by Badstuber there, and Lahm hammers the ball away. Clearance picked up. And now, as you can see, Paul Clement and Carlo Ancelotti, and his son, Davide Ancelotti, are focusing there on the youth players, helping them to solve these problems, with Ancelotti spending a little more time on his defense here. Good positional play there by Holger Bartstuber. Initiates a well, counter-attack goal, I suppose you could say. On the left, Holger Broich, basically head of the physical department, fitness coach, the physical coordinator, all kinds of ways to describe his work. A very important man in training at Bayern Munich. We've had over an hour of training now. Let's see if we'll have one more of these exercises or not, but I think Xabi Alonso's putting that red shirt back on, which would indicate that we have another round ahead of us. The way the fans have come to love him here at Munich, always eager to play, always with a smile on his lips. A man who suffers like few others when he's injured, absolutely hates not being able to play football and doing what he loves the most. So for those fans who do have an umbrella and who are staying here despite this really unpleasant weather, they might be in for a treat here. We have some goals, and when one goal is carried to the center of the pitch, that usually means we'll have a game, two teams playing against each other with both free of tactical restrictions, at least to the degree that they can both attack and defend and try and score. If you know just how professional these players are, how much they invest in their careers, I think it's always a great sight to see if they are laughing, if they're talking to each other, if they're analyzing what just happened. It just means everyone's just so involved in the training program. And that's exactly what the three men pretty much at the center of your screen want. Carlo and Davide Ancelotti and Paul Clement. A lot of managers have commented on the way training has changed in the last not even that many years, 5 to 10 to 15 years, how it's become ever more difficult really to keep the players involved in training, how nowadays you don't just want to achieve a goal and you don't just come up with an exercise to achieve a certain goal, but you have to take the players and their motivation into consideration. You want them to be motivated, you want them to be enjoying themselves. Well, this doesn't look as if there's going to be any goal scoring anytime soon. And this is just black against red with a free agent in green in the center. Oh, maybe. There we go. Just a very small pitch here the players can play on. This is one of these exercises, if you've ever been in a football club, you know, while this is fun, there's no breaks here, and because it's a small pitch, the ball is never too far away, which means you always have to constantly run and sprint and have to pay close attention to who's surrounding you. And that means that after a couple of minutes this starts to get really hard. Maybe not so much for a fantastic athlete like all of these Bayern players, but still. Fun on the one hand, but also hard work on the other. An ideal combination for a pro footballer.
Gut.
Here, by the way, one of the young players, Felix Götze, familiar surname, the younger brother of Mario, part of this Bayern training squad. Taking the ball off Franck Ribéry. Should be enough for a career, just that one move. His brother, by the way, with the German internationals, will return during the course of the US tour of Bayern Munich, the Audi summer tour of the US. There's no official confirmation yet exactly when and where which players will return. That will depend, of course, on fitness to a certain degree as well. As you know, Jerome Boateng, for instance, unfortunately sustained injury in the last Germany game. The semi-final exit to France. So he'll, I assume, be one of the later players to join Bayern Munich. Mario Götze, on the other hand, not used as much as Thomas Müller. That might come into play as well. Next goal here by Arjen Robben. He doesn't need to prove anything, but he's certainly using the training opportunity here to make it very clear to Carlo Ancelotti who he can rely on. Interesting pass forward there by Philipp Lahm, just a bit too sharp. But again, this exercise, nothing spectacular really, but because the pitch is so small, it just means that it's a very intense exercise. I think it's the first time that Team Red actually managed to get anywhere close to the goal of Sven Ulreich, who's all by himself there on the right side of the pitch. Next interception. Not a good pass there to what is it, Franck Ribéry? Here's Ulreich, I think the first touch of the ball. Another typical scene here, really, the reaction to this shot on goal. He's a young player who has a little bit of space, used the opportunity to take a shot on goal, and there's no criticism, but you can hear players like Ribéry and Robben shout their encouragement and say, "Well done, lad." The young players are very much accepted here at Bayern Munich. That's traditionally the case and has been. Of course, Bayern Munich has had really good experiences with young players. Thomas Müller is a prime example. Holger Badstuber's on the pitch here. He came from Bayern's youth academy, of course. Also Philipp Lahm. Also the newly wed Bastian Schweinsteiger, David Alaba, all those players, former youth academy talents at Bayern Munich. And it's carried through the years that young players are very much accepted here. The Bayern pros, the first team players, know the future of Bayern Munich, if possible at least, always is the youth academy and is young talent coming from that academy. Here's a good ball forward there by Ribéry into the center. Well played, quick attacking move there. And Robin. Robin always involved, and with a couple of friendly words there to the Tiger, as he calls him. That's the nickname of Hermann Gerland. Robin not quite happy with the refereeing skills there of Hermann Gerland, but that's not what he was famous for. He likes the occasional little joke and the occasional little tease of the Bayern players. We see that in every training session time and again. Here he is. A man who is really important for the atmosphere within the team, also important as a consultant, so to speak, of the star coaches at Bayern Munich in the past few years, and maybe most importantly, a man who knows more about the young talents at Bayern Munich and has a keen eye on all these young players. Great scouting ability of you, so Will, better than anyone else. He's the man who found Philipp Lahm, who encouraged him, who trained Philipp Lahm as a youth player. Holger Badstuber, Thomas Müller, David Alaba. A man who was always a supporter, for instance, of Mats Hummels, and also many fans don't remember that. Mats Hummels, of course, also came through Bayern Munich's youth academy. Didn't quite make it into the full squad then and transferred, although Hermann Gerland wasn't a big fan of that decision at the time. In hindsight, another one of these moments where he proved just how skilled he is, just how well he knows what it takes to make it at Bayern Munich. You can see just now Arjen Robben there pushing him away, friendly little shove there against Hermann Gerland, the Tiger as he's called. Wrong calls in training matches, by the way, traditionally a favored tool of a lot of coaches, really, just to get the players a little more angry, a little more furious, a little more motivated for the next move. And Robin, I'm sure, was originally really, genuinely a little angry about that call there by Hermann Gerland. Snaps out of it quickly, but it goes to show again, Robin really is Mr. 100% in every training. That's probably why he does so well.
Lass uns mal die Schalte halb bitte kippen, weil, wie wir erfahren haben, ist diese Präsentation
Das war das hier, glaube
die erste Talk mit Lahm und Badstuber in einem kleinen Raum. Das heißt, wir müssen die Schalte halten. Mach ich nach der Schalte gleich, oder?
Nein! Natürlich nicht! Tor! Let's go!
Gut, machen wir die jetzt mal nicht. Ja. Komm drauf, drauf, Felix. Gut, gut. bin mal kurz im Auto. Ja.
Sehr gut, Fabi.
We nearly saw one of those really rare moments in Bayern training when Philipp Lahm actually scores a goal, much to the delight, I think, of Arjen Robben there and Franck Ribéry, who immediately commented on that. And there's one thing Bayern's super captain isn't fantastic at, is scoring goals, so you have to cherish the moment. I remember last year we watched a public training session. It was I think a non-public session, but then afterwards the players stayed out and had a couple of shooting exercises, and Philipp Lahm amazingly scored I think 5 out of 6 opportunities from outside of the box, which didn't go unnoticed by his teammates. Good goal here, and possibly the last goal. Sven Ulreich not too happy with that. It's these moments here, or just now, an attacking move of Team Black down towards Sven Ulreich, where I don't know if you saw that Javi Martinez and Rafinha both hurtled into that ball to prevent the cross from coming to the center, where you see that while this looks like a fun and friendly exercise, this is as always really very ferocious. The players are 100% fully dedicated till the very end of the training session, which I think we have probably reached, if not we're approaching it. We've been out here now for nearly 1.5 hours. As I mentioned earlier, most, if not all, of these players spend time in the gym before or after training, and so I think we're probably going to have one more little gymnastics exercise at the center before the training session ends for today. Holger Broich removing the monitors here, I think, from the player shirts. Philipp Lahm is moving towards the locker room, unless something surprising happens here in the next few minutes. I'll use the opportunity to say thank you for watching. This was the second public training session under Carlo Ancelotti within a week. For the first time today, the fans had the opportunity to see this I find pretty beautiful new away shirt of Bayern Munich. As always, a great opportunity for the fans to come up close and personal with the Bayern stars. I thought a very interesting, not only entertaining training session, but interesting because we actually saw Carlo Ancelotti conduct a tactical exercise here, or at least an offensive practice exercise here, something that we never saw in public training sessions under his predecessor. now. There will probably be an analysis. Players will go into the gym, and here, by the way, these young men are the free kickers, YouTube stars in their own rights. They'll conduct a challenge against a couple of Bayern players, as far as I'm aware of, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of videos about that or covering that on YouTube. Some young men, not professional football players, but with awe-inspiring skills, so maybe keep your eyes open for that as well. They are also sporting the new Bayern away kit, which is available in the online store today, and you can click on the link below to have a look at that in a little more detail. I hope you enjoyed this second live training session. We don't want to overdo it, and there will be plenty of opportunity to bring you live, more live training videos, to bring you press conferences. Tomorrow is the next press conference with Carlo Ancelotti, and of course in the first test game already on Saturday away from home against SV Lippstadt, highlights of which will be available on our Facebook and YouTube channels shortly after the kickoff, and then only 4 days later the next, or maybe you could say the first high-profile test game against Manchester City. First time that the Allianz Arena opens its gates this pre-season. Again, the free kickers will conduct some exercises here with Javi Martinez and other Bayern professionals. Stay tuned to all of our channels. We'll bring as much as we possibly can without wanting to overload and bore you with too much information, but we'll try to get you as close and as personal, so to speak, as possible to the Bayern players in this pre-season. Plenty of action planned in the upcoming weeks before the season actually really kicks off on the weekend of the 19th of August, Friday evening cup match. That will be the first competitive game of Bayern Munich against Carl Zeiss Jena. But until then, we have a lot of action, entertainment and football lined up for you with the Bayern Munich stars. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching today.
Davide, sein Sohn, also der Sohn von Ancelotti, Davide Ancelotti, der eigentlich nicht Trainer sein sollte, aber jetzt Co-Trainer ist, und ich habe das eben in der Scheibe schon gesagt, das liegt wahrscheinlich vorwiegend daran, dass er sehr gut Deutsch spricht. Genau, das ist, ja, ich spricht besser Deutsch als sein Vater. Genau, ja. Also Paul Clement und Davide sind die Einzelübungen leiten. Ancelotti hat dann das Trainingsspiel so ein bisschen als Spieler geleitet und die übrigen Coaches beobachten. Also Gerland steht auf dem Rand und beobachtet.